underneath our 2015 F-150. I want to talk about the drain plug on this engine. Yep, that guy right there. So definitely a different design, and I just wanted to touch on this a little more because I recently did an oil change video for this. Some points I wanted to touch on that maybe got missed in that video. So this drain plug is a no tools required drain plug. So literally you grab this right here, turn it by hand, and you can get it loose. These little tabs lock into place here, right here, and if you and you can overcome the friction or whatever is holding it in place. You can overcome it just by hand, just by turning it. Another thing to notice, and I want to thank Chris for pointing this out. Chris mentioned that you should replace these drain plugs every oil change, and he's absolutely right. I believe there's a TSB. Don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure, but even if you're doing it yourself or if you're going to the dealer, it's probably a good idea to point this out that you might want this replaced. So this truck has like 17,000 miles. I think it's had like maybe 3 or 4 oil changes so far, and the last oil change I did myself, but the other 2 oil changes were done at the dealer. They've never replaced this drain plug, and looking under here, as you can see, while it's not leaving any stains in the driveway, it's definitely oily residue left around the drain plug, so that's definitely a leak. So it's a good idea to go ahead and order backup drain plugs, because those O-rings on here, just like any other O-ring in the oil change process, probably needs to be replaced. So I'm going to put a link on our Donashan webpage so that you can find this drain plug along with all the other supplies we used for this oil change when we did it. Another thing I want to mention is that you want to let the oil settle for 15 to 20 minutes before you drain the oil. So what I like to do is I like to open up my drain plug first. First I jack up the truck, then I open up the drain plug and let the oil drain out. One thing that I learned while doing this first oil change myself is that this hole here is a lot bigger than your normal plug, and it leaves a bigger hole for your normal plug than your normal plug does. So the oil is going to come out a lot faster than it does with a normal drain plug. So be prepared for that. If you've seen the oil change video, then you know how fast this oil comes out, and it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't lose too much oil because I had the pan ready, already set back. You want your drain pan to be set back, and you want it to be set back even a little more with this, because this bigger hole means that more oil flow is going to come out as soon as you take out this plug. It has a drive here, a 3/8 drive square peg here. You can use that to remove it, but you probably won't need to. You could probably get it off by hand, and you won't need that tool to tighten it up. And that's another thing to be careful for, is when you're tightening this drain plug up, you don't want to over tighten it. These tabs, they don't go beyond these stops. One person commented and said that he would bend these tabs and take it beyond these stops, and that's just not the case. I was a little skeptical or curious about this when I first did it, and I just made sure that I put it back the way that it came off. And it definitely made me a little nervous, because it literally only takes the hand tightening of this drain plug for it to become tight. And that was definitely new for me. And I'm used to having something torqued down and have a little torque on it, or some kind of more secure locking mechanism. But I assure you, I put this back the same way it came off. And I talked to some Ford technicians, some pretty heavy mechanics, heavy techs. They do basically, I know a guy that does the heavy mechanic work, and I showed him the video just to confirm, and I showed him the drain plug, and he responded to me and showed me more vehicles with this drain plug. We got turbo diesel vehicles, we got the new Shelby GT 500, that any Ford vehicle that's using this composite pan will have this similar drain plug. And basically these stops are to let you know this is where to stop it. It's 120 degrees, not more. So you're not going to bend these tabs or anything. It just takes hand tightening, and it secures itself into place. So you don't have to worry about it coming off. So don't try to like bend it beyond the or turn it beyond the tabs here, because it clearly states in the instructions that that can cause damage to this oil pan or to the drain plug. Hopefully to the drain plug, not the oil pan, because if you damage this, you are in big trouble. So that is pretty much it for the video. I want to touch on a few things before I go. Make sure when you do the oil change to let the oil settle for 15 to 20 minutes. Also, too, a good practice for me, I didn't mention this in the first video to let the oil settle to the pan, because honestly, for any oil change that I do, I'm gonna let it settle for like 15-20 minutes anyway. So for me, the first thing I do is jack up the vehicle. Then after that, I open up this drain plug, let the oil drain. After that, I'm gonna crack the pull the dipstick out a little bit to allow more airflow. And well, honestly, to be honest, you want to pull that dipstick out to allow more airflow before you pull this plug out, because you want your oil to flow out nice and fast, so that way if there's anything, which probably isn't anything down there, but you want a good flow out. You want your oil to flow out fast when it comes out. But pull that dipstick out and allows more airflow, so there's not a, it can allow air into the crankcase so that the oil can flow out better. But what I like to do is I like to open this up, let the oil drain, and then do everything else up top. From there, while this is draining, I'm going to service my filter. I'm going to take care of those O-rings. I'm going to do everything that needs to be done up top. And the way, when I did it that way, it didn't cause any mess. Taking off that top cartridge caused me no mess, because everything was already basically draining. So it's a good practice to start here, and by the time you're ready to put this drain plug back in, you've already wiped out the inside of your cap. That's another thing, that cartridge up top, make sure you keep that in a clean spot. Don't put it like on the ground or anything, because it can pick up dirt and rocks. But just changing out those O-rings on that cartridge and getting everything squared away for the top part of the oil change, that's going to take a good portion of your draining time anyway. So I'm just one of those OCD people who basically I'm going to let it settle for 15 minutes anyway with the plug out. So then I'll do all that, and then the last thing I'll do is I'll put this plug back in, and then I will add my oil. But the capacity for this engine is 6 quarts. I put 6 quarts in, but I kind of maybe was a little bit unclear, because you see me adding in the first quart, then I showed a 5-gallon jug. So if you skipped around and didn't see me pour that first quart in, this capacity is 6 quarts, and there is 6 quarts in here. So recap, definitely want to go ahead and change out this plug, because this drain plug has rubber seals on it, and what you clearly see, I don't think this plug's been changed ever since this vehicle was new. It now has 17,000 miles, or maybe close to 18K. It definitely, I mean, it's not leaking to the point where I'm going to be losing any oil, but there's some seepage around it. So thanks a lot, Chris, for pointing that out. Absolutely, go ahead and order some of these. You don't have to order these from Ford. You can get OEM drain plugs for this 2.7 liter Eco, or any composite drain, or any composite oil pan from Amazon, and I'll put the link on our website. Anyway, guys, my name is Sean. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my channel. I'm under here with my nephew Davey.
Hello. Well, goodbye.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my channel, and go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to hear from you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.